Thank you so much for joining me and for your time this morning. I'm Megan Nyland. I work out of one of the corporate offices in Kent, Ohio, and I focus primarily on training and employee development for our UVM service line group. I also supervise our recruiting team, so getting involved in the whole onboarding and orientation process from there. I also get invited or involved in a lot of just different types of projects. So you'll see communications coming out from me from time to time, and it could be on a variety of different things. I'm a great point of contact for you. If you have questions at any time, you're trying to figure something out, trying to find somebody, that type of thing, feel free to reach out to me. That's one of the things that I'm here for. And the whole point of this webinar is to introduce you to all of the different sites and resources that are available to you as an employee of Davie, how you can kind of navigate and find answers to questions a little bit on your own, and how to kind of get yourself set up for success. I see we had a couple more of you just jumped on. Welcome. We're just getting started. So I'm going to change my screen here. I will send out a follow-up email to all of you that has a recorded version of the webinar. If you need to skim through and see anything again, anything like that. I will pause along the way to see if you have questions about anything. So if you do, feel free to open up your mic and let me know. And we'll get going here. So I've changed my screen. If at any point it looks like what I'm talking about is not what you're seeing, somebody give me a shout out, because I can only see the window that I'm presenting. I can't necessarily see if that's what's coming through and you're seeing on the Teams platform. So with that, we'll get started here. And again, I'll pause and see if you have questions. If you do, just let me know. So I'm going to take myself off of here. First site that we have open here is our Learning Management System, or LMS. You might also hear this referred to as Brainier. That's simply the platform that we use for our system. So this is where you've been accessing all of your training courses, getting a little bit familiar with how that works, but there's a lot of other things going on with this site as well. So we just want to kind of introduce those and how you can use this as a tool outside of that online training that you're doing. So when you log in, you're coming to this dashboard landing page, and then we can scroll down and start seeing a variety of different things. First thing that they have listed here is the season of learning for 2025. Each spring, the Davie Institute, which is the learning arm of the company, puts out these 20 to 30-minute virtual learning sessions on a variety of different topics. Here you can see listed on the side, they've got some LMS training tips, they've got some skills and personal development pieces that you can view. And these are really for your own interest. If it's something that you want to jump into and review, they're available for you to do at any time. Not anything that's required. It's simply a kind of an extension or a way for you to build your own personal professional development. If we scroll down a little bit here to these tiles, this Davie Dose and this Season of Learning tile are going to be the exact same type of thing, just from previous years. So they're going to be different topics in there that they've covered in the past. Again, it might be different types of skills or software. It could be about tree diseases. It could be different types of treatments that are being used for certain things. Just a whole variety of different things. Again, as you're interested, feel free to jump into those. If we scroll down a little bit further, we see more of these tiles. I will point out this health and safety tailgate tile is not where you're going to find your health and safety tailgates. They have moved those in the last couple of months. And as we go along, I will point out to you where you can find those. The tailgates come out to us each month from the safety department. A lot of times these are covered on your weekly team safety calls with your managers and your other buddies that go over just a variety of different safety hazards, things to be aware of, proper procedures, things like that, to kind of keep us on top of what's going on and to keep ourselves safe. Again, I'll show you where we can find those when we get to that point. There is an ISA certification prep tile. So if at some point you're working on your ISA certified arborist certification, jump into this tile and it goes chapter by chapter to help you to review and make sense of that material. I've had great feedback from folks that have used that information and really felt like it helped prepare them, and they felt much better about taking the exam when they got to it. I think it's a big, heavy lift, and so anything that can kind of help you get there, definitely take advantage of. We do not have anything in the system at this point for the utility specialist certification, but if you're going certified arborist, definitely check that out to help you. We do have a DRG UVM training tile, which is our own training tile for our own personal curriculum. We'll come back to that in a little bit. And then probably the last one I would point out here is the Success Factors employee training tile. So Success Factors is basically our HR information system. It's where your profile is built out. It's where you can access your pay stubs, see your insurance information, things of that nature. You have all been assigned the SuccessFactors General User Training Bundle that'll tell you all about how to get logged into, get your account set up, what you can do with different actions in there and those types of things. But you can always get a quick link into those learning modules here from that tile as well. Okay. And then we get to your training. So you've got this area called My Learning. It will only list 5 courses on one page. And I know you've got more than 5 courses that have been assigned to you. I only have 5 in mind at the moment here. In that case, underneath here, there will be other pages that you can navigate to find those other courses. But as you've been doing, you simply click on the course. It takes you to that piece, and then you just start going through the material. Here we see we can also click on Started. So maybe you started working on a course, but you didn't have time to finish it. You can come back later, jump into here, click right into that course, and pick up right where you left off. Here you can see I've got multiple pages of courses that have been started, but that I haven't completed. We can also see our completed coursework. And again, you're going to accumulate multiple pages of these learning objects. But if you need to document or show for your manager that, yes, I completed such and such training, what have you, you can do screenshots and show them that type of thing. You can also use these courses as a reference. What you've got coming at you right now is just an overwhelming amount of information, and you're probably just absorbing a small amount of it. You can come back into your completed courses and jump back into those courses anytime to review that information. So maybe you're brand new to utility work and you want to work on your utility equipment identification. Pop back into that course and keep working through that. Same thing with like tree species ID or electrical hazard awareness, those types of things. Feel free to jump in and use those as a reference point to help you be successful in what you're doing. Any questions about the LMS so far or the courses that you've been working on? I will say that from time to time, you might have a course that gets glitchy, and maybe it gets stuck in a section and it won't let you advance to the next, or you complete the whole thing, but it doesn't log you as complete. If that happens, don't keep trying over and over again and getting stuck and kind of wasting your time spinning your wheels. Jump in here, reach out to the LMS admin team, and they're going to be able to help troubleshoot and get you moving again. So if we come over to the menu on the side here and we kind of move down here, there's a contact us. Simply click on that. It'll give you the email address for the LMS team. Reach out to them, explain what course you're working on, what's happening. If you can show them screenshots, that is super helpful for them. And they'll be able to then help get you moving along again, identify what the issue is, or get you moved to the next section if something's sticking or what have you. Don't hesitate to reach out to them if you're having problems, rather than wasting your time trying over and over again with the same results. Okay. I'm going to go back to our dashboard page here. So this learning management system is not just for those online training courses that you've been assigned that you're working through. It's a library of hundreds of different learning objects. So maybe you've had a question from your client or a property owner. It's something outside your realm of knowledge. Let's jump in the LMS and see if there's anything in there that can help me out. Maybe you're ready to just kind of move your learning to the next level, or there's something that you're interested in. There's a lot of great stuff in here to help you with those types of things. And we've got a number of different ways that we can search for that material. So if we come back to our menu on the side here, we come down to this little building icon, and we can browse a number of different ways. So I'm going to click first to browse by title, and this takes a second for it to load up. But this is going to give us a numerical and alphabetical listing of everything that's in the LMS. And of course, it's taking even a little bit longer today. Here goes. But you can kind of skim through this way and get some ideas of some of the types of things that's in there that you might catch your eye, but probably not very efficient if there's something specific that you're looking for. So if I come back to that little building icon in the menu, and if I go to browse by tag, a tag is like a subject area. So every course is then tagged in what is this about, so that it makes it much easier to find or search those out if there's something that we're looking for. So we've got professional development, utility arboriculture, tree risk assessment, arboriculture, all different types of things in here. Advanced arborist, arborist toolkit. So you would simply click on one of those tags, and I'll go ahead with arboriculture, and it'll bring up a whole collection of courses that have something to do with arboriculture. And here you can see I've got multiple pages of items that might fit the bill. And this will maybe get you a little bit faster to what it is that you're looking for or trying to find. We can also use the search bar at the top of the page. In here, we just need some keywords. So if I plug in utility and wait, it'll bring me up items that have utility as part of their title. If I go ahead and enter to search, it's going to bring up those same items, but as I keep moving through the pages that they've got here, I'm going to get other stuff that have something to do with utility, even if it's not in the title. So this might be a much more efficient way for me to find whatever information it is that I'm looking for. So know that that's available to you. Feel free to jump in there anytime and look for that kind of stuff. If you need some help finding something, you can reach out to me, or again, you can contact the LMS team, let them know what it is that you need, and they can help you out with what's available. Okay? Any questions there? All right, going back to our dashboard, I want to jump into that UVM training tile. So a couple of years ago, we developed a full curriculum from the foundational stuff that you're working on now, all the way up to training materials for the management level, based on skills and competencies at each of those levels that was identified by your managers. And we call this our UVM tree of knowledge, and we've organized it just like a tree, where we're moving up from the foundations at the bottom, the roots, all the way up to the canopy. So what you're working on right now is actually the coursework that's in the level 1 learning or roots. Make sure that you're doing your courses from your assignments page first. Don't jump into those courses from somewhere else. In some cases, that can throw you off from specific assignments that are put out there. But if you come in here and look after you've done your training, you're going to see those exact same courses that you're working on right now. And since you will already have done them, it's going to recognize that. And in this part of the curriculum, it's going to tell you this step's optional. You've already done it somewhere else. You can skip it. You can take it again if you want to. If you skip it, it's going to recognize you as complete for it in this level of the curriculum, so because it knows that you've already done that. So as we scroll down, you're going to see a lot of the same things that everybody has been assigned. Once we get a little further, we get a little more specific. So California laws and regs is only being assigned to folks that are in California. If that's something that you're interested in, feel free to pop in there and see what it's all about. Same with tree ID. You've been assigned the region that makes the most sense for where you're at, but we've got Eastern region, Central Southwest, Western region, Florida. If you want to see trees from other parts of the country, feel free to jump into those courses as well. My recommendation is when you're ready to take your training to that next level, maybe in a month or two, 90 days down the road, you've got your feet under you, you're comfortable with the things you're doing, you're ready to take a look at what's next for me, jump in here and come to level 2. So we've got a whole new set of skills and competencies that are being addressed. You've got a whole new collection of courses that are in here that you can pop into. You can take these in any order. You can take 1 or 2 of them and none of the rest. It really is up to you. I will say that if you complete a full level of a curriculum, I will send you out a certificate of recognition and some Davy swag. And I will also say that some of the managers are taking a look at these types of things when they assess their team, and they're looking for, who's the right person for this new role or responsibility or what have you. So kind of think about it in that manner as well. Talk to your manager about what they're thinking or what their expectations are, what types of opportunities are available. And like I said, there are learning pieces all the way up to leadership level types of training materials that are available to anybody. If I come down under the tree, there's this folder of other available resources. And this is really just kind of an a la carte collection of different types of things that are related to what we do that may be of interest to you. Obviously, we're in full swing, into summer now, but once fall comes, Tree ID can get a little trickier in some parts of the country. Jump in here and do Tree ID for autumn and winter. We've got a Tree ID for common vines that might be helpful for you. We do have a bilingual translation resource. If you're working in a very diverse area and you're running into different languages, we have some collections of flashcards in a variety of different languages that might help you, that you can print those cards out, and they might help you to better communicate some of those commonly asked questions that you're asking to some of those people and might help out the process. So just some interesting things that are in here, again, for your interest, for your benefits, as you want to, that we're just trying to get them all in the same place for you. Underneath that, there's frequently asked questions. It just talks all about what is the curriculum, how do I approach it, where do I jump in, all of that good stuff. But if you ever have any questions at all about training, feel free to reach out to me as well. Okay? Anything at all in the LMS? All right, moving on then, we're going to jump into success factors here, and I always time out before I get to this one. So as I said, SuccessFactors is our HR information system. So everybody will have a profile in here. This is where all of your employee information is going to be housed. And there's a lot of other stuff that you're going to be able to access and change and update in here as well. So when you log in, yours is going to look similar to mine, but probably a little bit different. You're probably not going to have all of the same tiles that I have. Your background picture here might be different. You can do some customization in here if you feel like it. But there's some really great quick access tiles here if we scroll down a little bit. So there is a pay statement tile that you can click into that. It'll take you to your pay statements that you can very easily open and access those. If you are eligible for benefits, this employee benefits tile is where you're going to enroll in those benefits. You're going to find information in here about the benefits that are available. There's going to be a decision-making tool that's available in there for you. There should be contact information to reach out to the HR department if you have questions or need some help. And then once you do get enrolled into those benefits, that's where you'll be able to go and see, this is what I'm signed up for, this is how much it's costing me, and all of that good stuff. If you are coming in through QSS, this will not apply to you until you roll over to be a full Davie hire. And at that time, you'll be able to pop right in here and enroll in your benefits. But for those coming in as full-time permanent right now, this is where you want to go to get that all set up. If at some point you need to change your emergency contact, we can do that easily here. If you need to change like your direct deposit account, if you need to change your address, that makes it very easy for you to do all of those types of things. The other one that I want to point out here is your View My Profile tile. So if we click on that, it's going to bring up our personal information that has our contact information, our employee ID, who our manager is, those different types of things. If we jump down to employment information, this will talk a little bit more about your position, the cost center that you belong to. It's just a little bit more detailed information about where you're fitting in. You can also click on payroll, and this is where that pay statement button is going to bring you. It'll take you to this page. You simply click on the link for pay statement. Your most recent one will come up, and as you accumulate them, you'll be able to navigate to any other ones as well. So great place to get familiar with. You're going to do some actions in here. You're probably going to use that pay statement piece regularly. So definitely check it out. If you have questions, issues, anything, don't hesitate to talk to one of your supervisors, reach out to HR, or reach out to me as well. Okay. Any questions on SuccessFactors? All right, we're going to jump over now to DRG Connect. So this site is created specifically for Davie Resource Group employees. There are tons of useful information and resource pieces in here to help you navigate, to help you understand different processes and policies and all of that good kind of stuff. I will point out in the upper right-hand corner, there's this little magnifying glass for search. If there's something specific that you're searching for, you have a question about, you need to reach out to somebody, whatever that might be, use that search option. It will help you to figure out what's in here, where it's at, and help you to navigate to that. At the top of the page, you've got these different drop downs. You've got employee safety, employee resources, supervisor resources, obviously for your supervisors, and UVM resources. And for each one of those, if you click on that header, it'll take you to kind of like a table of contents that tells you what is listed under that area. You can click directly into each section from here, or you can click into them from the drop down. I'm going to jump first into incident investigation and reporting. So hopefully whoever's been working with you, training you, has talked about what to do if you have an incident. If not, ask questions. But this page is definitely going to run through and help you understand a little bit better that if something happens, what do I do next? So things that we want you to report. These are going to be all on the job: incidents, injuries, and illnesses. You want to report those immediately to your supervisor, but we also want to start moving things forward so that you or any other parties involved can be taken care of. So these could be vehicular incidents, these could be property damage incidents that might happen, an injury that you sustain, illnesses that include things like tick bites, bee stings. I got in a poison ivy patch or poison sumac or something like that. We want you to report them. So maybe you get a tick bite, but there's nothing big about it. We still want you to report that, hey, I got bit by a tick the other day. I removed it. I think I'm fine. But if a week or two down the road, something starts happening and it's a result of that tick bite, we've got you documented and on record that this happens. And it's going to make it a lot easier for you to get the coverage and the help that you need for those types of things. So just kind of keep that in mind for those kind of one-off weird things that could happen to you. In the glove box of your vehicle, there should be an envelope with the 3 incident forms for each of those different types of incidents that might happen. If you don't have these forms, I highly recommend that you get them printed and in your vehicle. As we scroll down the page, I'll show you where you can find them to print them. If you have, say, a fender bender, somebody rear ends you or what have you, if you are in the capacity to handle and deal with the situation, having those forms on hand is going to help you to kind of center in, focus, calm down a little bit, and start gathering the information needed to take care of this situation. All of the reporting has gone electronic, and if you have an incident like that, you're probably not going to be in the presence of mind to go try to find some electronic form that you're going to have to log into, scroll down, start filling out. Having a piece of paper in front of you where you can start filling in some blanks is going to make life so much easier and help you feel a little bit more in control of what's going on. If you have an incident, a lot of times there is post-incident drug testing, alcohol testing that has to take place. Just know that that's part of the process for everybody. It's not calling or singling anybody out. It's simply to make sure that everything is status quo and being taken care of the way that has to be. If you have an incident, there will be an investigation. That simply means that one of your supervisors is going to go over this event with you, make sure that all the blanks are filled in and we have all the information needed to move this thing forward towards resolution and get it taken care of. In a lot of cases, we do have to report to OSHA, so this process helps us to fulfill that obligation. We do have some information here for severe incident reporting, particularly even after hour reporting or whatever. This is more for your managers, but for peace of mind, you can see name and contact information here as well if you feel like it's warranted or needed. The incident forms, as I scroll down, this is where you can print out those forms. You simply go into the resource folder. You can find each of those and very easily select and print those out so that you've got them on hand. And then here, this just kind of goes over briefly our post-incident alcohol and drug testing policies so that you just are aware, understand, know what to expect if something should happen. Okay. Any questions at all about incidents and reporting? If you ever do, don't hesitate to talk to one of your supervisors about those concerns. Okay. All right, going back up to that employee safety dropdown, I'm going to go to policies and procedures. Lots of information on this page. All of it pertains to you at one point or another. So the very first thing we have here is an electronic version of the safety and training manual. This is the same thing as that big giant binder of information that's probably in your vehicle. We can click into the resource folder here. We can find that in both English and in Spanish. And the safety and training manual should be a resource that you are checking in or referring to at any given time. It is a great guide to help you to understand and know how to do any job across the company. Answer a lot of the questions that you might have from time to time. So say you have a question on personal protective equipment or PPE expectations. There's a chapter on that. Maybe you need to set up temporary traffic control. What's that supposed to look like? There's a chapter on that. Maybe you need some help with electrical hazard identification and expectations. There's a chapter on that. There's also going to be chapters on things that you guys probably aren't doing. Chainsaw safety, ropes and knots, landscape installation. But for the things that you are doing, this is going to be a great reference point for you to make sure that you're doing things properly. Have questions about how do I do something? What is expected of me? Any of those types of things. So know that that's available to you there, that you don't have to go through the big binder in your vehicle. You can look it up here too if you're in the office on a computer. Also at the top of the page is information about MedCore. So MedCore is an 800 number for a nurse triage service that is available to you free of charge 24/7. So this is if you've had something happen to you on the job, and it's one of those things that you're just like, what's the best thing for me and do in this moment? What should I do? Give them a call, explain what happened, what you're experiencing, and then they're going to give you a recommendation. Maybe you should go to an urgent care. Maybe you should be in the emergency room. Maybe you just need to go do some ice and Advil, maybe call your doctor if things advance. So this is a great peace of mind tool for you to have. If you don't already have it, get that 800 number down and in your vehicle so that if something does happen and you need to call, you've got that at your fingertips and very easy to find. Okay. Under that, there's information about our PPE hazard assessment policy. This is just kind of rundown of what our PPE expectations and policies are. The safety tailgate program, we talked about that a little bit. Here's a link. The tailgates are not here either, so scratch that. I need to have our web designer remove that there. But there is some more information here about the tailgates. If you already have your ISA certification, those tailgates are eligible for CEU credits. So if that is you, make sure that your supervisor knows that. So when those tailgates are covered, they get you documented and turned in, and you get your credit. Coming down a little bit further, lone worker resources and policies. We know that most of our people are lone workers out working independently. We want you to be as safe as possible. We want you to feel as safe as possible. One of the key pieces of that, knowing that you're safe or keeping you safe, is the check-in and check-out processes. If nobody's talked to you about check-in, check-out, ask today. This is going to be one of the key ways that your manager is going to know that maybe you are not safe at the end of the day or in the middle of the day, and it's going to also give them an idea of where to send out the help to get to you. We've had multiple over the past year where we had folks that had been checking in throughout the day, but they did not check out at the end of the day. Very quickly, they were able to see, oh, well, they were working in this area today. Send some coworkers out to that location. They were able to very quickly find and get to those folks. And in each one of those cases, something had happened that they were stuck or stranded there, and they were not able to connect or communicate out. Maybe they didn't have a signal or whatever. So they were stuck there until somebody did come and look for them. And because of this process, they were able to do that. So definitely keep that in mind. Also know that you have the final say in the safety of a work location. So maybe you're in a very remote area. It looks really sketchy to access, and you're kind of like, I should probably not be looking and climbing and doing around in there without somebody else around in case something happens. Stop, take a step back, contact your supervisor and explain what you're seeing. Maybe there's an alternative way to get the information that you're looking for. Maybe a buddy can come out so you're not by yourself in those types of situations. Same things in urban areas. If you're in an inner city area and you're like, I really don't feel like I should be wandering around here by myself, let your supervisor know that. Again, maybe a buddy can come out with you so you're not by yourself. And even in some extreme situations, we have had police escort. That's very rare, but it is something that we can consider so that our people are as safe as they can possibly be. So definitely keep that in mind, okay? UVM standards and regulations. Depending on how long you've been in the industry, you may or may not be familiar with ANSI, American National Standards Institute. They write the operational standards and safety requirements for our industry. The ANSI A300 is performance standards. The Z133 is safety requirements. If for some reason you should ever need to refer to these documents, maybe for your client, maybe an issue has come up and we need to double check something, you can come in here and jump into the links to access those documents so that you've got them for reference. Good catches and close calls. This is something that we share across the company, but are also shared on your weekly team calls. So close calls are near misses, right? Undesirable, unfortunate events that happen to you. They could have ended badly, but fortunately they didn't. We still want to share and talk about them so that our team members are aware and thinking and also being like, oh yeah, that could happen to me out there. Maybe you're wandering, or I don't want to say wander, maybe you're patrolling along the right of way and you almost step in a groundhog hole. That has happened to people. If you did that, maybe you twist your ankle or break your leg, right? That's something that could happen if you step in a groundhog hole. And simply by telling your team, hey, I almost stepped in a groundhog hole the other day. It was huge. I didn't see it in the brush. That makes them think, you know what? I need to probably be paying attention to where I'm putting my feet too. So definitely share those out. As we move along, I'll show you where you can send a close call from your mobile device to the safety department. But a lot of times on your teams, your managers are last. Did anybody have any close calls last week they want to share? Definitely share those with your team. It just kind of helps everybody be more aware and more safe. Job briefings, probably becoming a routine part of your day at this point. There's a link to a paper form here, but I think almost everybody has gone to some kind of an electronic version, which is fine. Just know that your job briefing, be as thorough as possible with those, because that may be your last moment to identify hazards on your work area and to do something about them. Either stay away from them, eliminate them, whatever it might be. I've had folks say, you know, I'm working in suburban areas and neighborhoods. The road I'm on today looks a lot like the road that I was on yesterday. Why do I got to do another job briefing? Don't get complacent. Those are where you need to really look and say, what's different today from yesterday? Is there a road here that I've got to navigate that I didn't have to yesterday that makes it more difficult? Is there brush up ahead that might have poison ivy in it? Are there dogs down the way that I got to be watching out for? Look for those differences so they don't catch you unawares. And if you ever have questions, concerns, just let your supervisor know. Okay? Crew observation, fire prevention resources here. These apply more to some than to others, depending on the type of work that you're doing, but those are there for you to access. The worker wellness, this is that same MedCore nurse triage number we saw at the top of the page. Here it is again. Get that down, get it in your vehicle so it's easy to find if you need it. If you have prescription glasses, we do have prescription safety glasses. You're eligible for those after you've been with us for 30 days. And then you've got all the information you need here to check into getting those safety glasses, healthandsafety@davie.com. They're going to help you walk through, let you know what's available, how it works, all those good types of things. So if this applies to you, definitely check it out. It's probably a lot more comfortable than having to wear the safety glasses over top of your own. And then last thing on this page is the dog bite safety training. This is the same information that you're going to review in the job site safety course in your online assignments, but we've got that dog bite safety piece pulled out here as well. Some people are definitely more concerned about interactions with animals than other folks. You are going to have interactions with dogs and maybe even other types of animals on the right of ways, in yards, at front doors. So this is just going to help you to be a little bit more prepared. What types of things to look out for, how to make your presence known, how to protect yourself if you have an interaction, those types of things. And if there's ever a location that you have concerns about, let your supervisor know. I know a lot of the utilities have lists of areas where there have been dog issues in the past or places to watch out for or what have you. So be aware of that too. And definitely, like I said, if you've got a location that's a concern, reach out for some help there. Okay. Any questions on this page? Tons of information. All right, I'm going to jump over to the employee resources dropdown. As you can see, there are a lot of different areas of information here. I definitely encourage you to come back when you've got some time that you can just click and browse around to check this stuff out so you can see what's in here, how it's organized, that types of things. Just a few things I'm going to hit under this one. First one is DRG contact information. So this is going to have address and phone number for our corporate offices. For any phone extension that you come across, you can use either one of these 800 numbers to access those extensions. If I come down a little bit further, there's information about the Davie Voice. The Davie Voice is a reporting platform. So this is kind of like, I will call it, I guess, a whistleblower site, that if you at some point experience or observe activity that you feel really, this is not right, this is inconsistent with the company policies, this is inconsistent with my values, what have you, and something needs to change, use the Davie Voice, especially if you are trying and nothing is happening. But you don't have to try and nothing happen. You can come here and get some help. So this would be completely confidential. If something is reported as it is worked to a point of resolution, there should be no fear of retaliation. And there's a number of different ways that you can access. Obviously, they've got a QR code here you can scan. They've got a toll-free number. They've got a website. And as we go along, I'll show you another resource where you can access from your mobile device as well. So again, know that that's available if something should ever arise that you feel like this is needed. I need help. And then under there, we've got our important Davie contacts. So you've got your different corporate departments. In a lot of cases, we've got a contact name and their extension. We've got some specific mailboxes. We've got some department mailboxes. But as an employee, you're going to have questions about something at some point, and this might be a good place to start looking for some help. So you simply go into DRG Connect, Employee Resources, under that DRG contact information. Okay? Any questions on this page? All right, back to that drop down. I'm going to come down here to employment policies. The first thing that we have here is an electronic version of the employee handbook. You can find it in here in both English and in Spanish. I believe the welcome email that had your employee ID number also had the employee handbook attached to that, but you can also access it, find it here. Here we find the Davie Voice again. We just want people, if they need it, to be able to find it. And then we've got information, general information about your PTO, vacation, all of those different types of things. If you are coming in from QSS, this might look a little bit different for you until you roll over to be a Davie hire. However, the time that you are serving now with QSS does count towards your PTO accumulation. So that's good to know. And then for anybody who is a regular full-time hire, this is going to be your general policies for vacation, holiday, funeral leave, jury duty, any of those types of things. And if you have specific questions, obviously talk with your supervisor about your needs and those types of things. Okay. questions here? All right, and going back to that drop down, and we're going to go to employee benefits. So if your manager should want you to get business cards, there's going to be a form here that you can use to order those cards. Kind of an oddball thing in this location, but the stock purchase plan, we've got a link to the employee ownership corner. Davey has been employee owned for over 45 years. Everybody has an opportunity to become an employee owner. I think once you've been with the company for 90 days, if the stock purchasing window is open, you can purchase that stock. Once you've been with us for 6 months, you'll be able to get that stock at a 15% discount. So any questions and how it all works, you can definitely dive into this employee ownership corner and learn all about that stuff. The additional employee benefits, I'm going to wait until we get to our next site to jump into that stuff because it's a little bit better organized than here. But underneath that, we've got our Send a Friend referral bonus program. So if you know others that are looking for a job and they're interested in Davey or doing the types of things that Davey are doing, refer them. You can get up to $1,000 for a hire. I think you get half of it at their 90 days and the other half when they hit 6 months. But there's no limit to how many people you can refer that get hired and that you get paid for. We've got some folks out there that have gotten paid for more than 10 folks. So if you know people, send them our way. This section will walk you through how to submit a referral. But if you have questions or having issues, just reach out to your recruiter and they can help you with your referral too. We do have scholarships available both to employees that are pursuing additional degrees or certificates. And if you have dependents, I think the due date's probably passed for the 25-26 year, but if you have dependents, definitely have them check out that scholarship program for next year as well, okay? And then we've got our general benefit information. That employee benefits button on SuccessFactors is going to have more details in there, but this will give you kind of the general rundown of what's available for health, life, dental, vision, the disabilities, those types of things. Again, if you're coming in temp to perm, this would not apply until you roll over to be an official Davey employee. But for those, again, that are coming straight in, this just kind of gives you a summary of what's available to you. And any questions at all, I know it can be confusing sometimes, just reach out to the HR department, benefits.hr@davey.com, and they should be able to help you with any questions that you have. Okay? Any questions on this page? Okay, this UVM resources, this is just kind of like an a la carte placement area for a variety of different types of things. You can come in here and kind of peruse and see if there's anything that seems useful to you, but it's a nice place for us to kind of put odds and ends, things that are UVM specific that might be useful to our team members or our managers. Okay. All right. Any questions at all on DRG Connect? Okay. I'm going to jump over to our last site. This is Davey Connect. So this platform is developed for all Davey employees. It is available as a mobile app, so I definitely encourage getting that. It is a great place to keep up with all the different things that are going on across the company. You can engage, you can make posts, you can respond to, kind of keep up with things that are due, things that are going on. It's just a great way to know what's happening. And again, like I said, kind of stay engaged. So you can kind of scroll down. If you're on a mobile device, it's going to look very much like an Instagram or something where you're scrolling through your different types of posts, all kinds of good stuff in here. Sometimes they'll have polls or contests or things like that. Sometimes it's need to know. Maybe it's an announcement that some new safety training or something has come up. And like I said, you can also post to that as well. I think they have like a Pets of Davey where you can, put in pictures of your pet and things of that nature. So definitely check that out and check back on it regularly. And then the cool thing about Davey Connect is that all of the things that we've been talking to, you can get to all of them from Davey Connect. So at the top of your screen, you'll have all of these little quick links, and I'm going to expand that so we can see all of them. You can get into SuccessFactors from Davey Connect. You can get into the LMS from Davey Connect. Most of the LMS courses should work on your mobile devices. Some of them might be older or very large, and those might struggle. You might have to do them on a computer, but some of them should work on your devices. This DRG UVM takes you right to the DRG Connect site that we were looking at. If you do expenses on your account, you can do those through Concur. You can get to Concur from here. SAM, this is where you claimed your email, and you'll have to from time to time change your password for that. You can jump into SAM from here. Here's that employee ownership corner that we talked about. Learn all things about becoming an employee owner. Human resources, the safety department. Here's the Davie voice. If you should have to report or feel the need to report and need some help at some point, you can do that from Davie Connect in your mobile device. What else do we got here? Here's that close call communicator. If you have a close call in the field, you can pull out your mobile, pop into that quick link, and zip you right off to report that close call and share that with the safety department. Also, the IT Help Center. If you're having any type of technical issue or problem on the job, reach out to them. You can also email them at help@davie.com, super simple. But say you're even trying to get your Davie email onto your personal device so it's easier to get to it and keep up on it, and it's giving you fits. Reach out to the IT Help Center and they can help you get that taken care of. So all kinds of cool stuff that you can do here. I'm going to jump into the Human Resources Hub just so you can see kind of how it's organized. And there's obviously a lot of great human resources information that usually we want to know or need to access. So we'll go to the Hub and we'll scroll down a little bit. The HR and payroll group, they have created a call routing list as well. So if you have HR or payroll questions, check out this this list here, and that might get you to an even more specific individual for the question that you need help with. So know that that is there. We've got information on all the health resources, mental health resources that are available to employees. We've got information on the benefits programs. So I'll pop into there and we can take a look here. Here's that send a friend referral bonus program we talked about. We do have an employee emergency assistance program. If you find yourself in type of hardship, you can apply for some help there. Here are the scholarships that we mentioned. If you give charitable donations, you can apply for Davie to provide a matching gift. Hinge Health, this is kind of like a joint health program because of the type of work that we do, that this kind of helps you to maintain your flexibility and mobility and that type of thing. We have smoking cessation programs. We have paid parental leave program, childcare discount programs available, fertility support. There's a Davie savings program where you can have like an automatic deduction from your paychecks each time to save. So some great stuff that's available to you there that you can check out. I'm going to jump back into our hub and get back down here. Information about our retirement program, employee affinity groups. So these employee affinity groups are just another way for you if you want to connect and engage with different types of groups. So there is a veterans group, there's a Hispanic group, there's an LGBTQ plus group, there's a women's group. Trying to think, I think there's a Black and Indigenous populations group. If you want to connect with those folks, either as a member or an ally of any of those groups, you're welcome to do so. You can jump into there and find out all about those groups. Discounts and perks, let's jump into that. So these are those additional benefits that we skipped over previously. Let's take a look and see what we've got. So we want to go into the discounts for personal use and come down here. So if you need Davie services on your own property, you can get those at a 20% discount. Once you've been with us for a year, if you're purchasing your own personal computer, you can get some assistance with that. For your own personal cell phones, we can get discounts through Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T. You can get discounts through American National Insurance. And if you're in a member of ISA, or you're renewing your certifications or whatever, you can get discounts through them as well. Again, here's those childcare discount programs, insurance discounts. If at some point you're in the market for a vehicle, we can get discounts from Ford, Chrysler, and GM. So you can jump in there, see that information. I think for each one of them, it'll give you information on how to get a code. You take that code to your dealer and boom, you get a little bit more off. You can get personal discounts on Choice Hotels and Enterprise. And if you're in Ohio, tires as well. So there's some great stuff that's available to us that if nobody tells you, you're never going to know that we get that. So really cool stuff there. Definitely get connected to Davie Connect. Let me get back to the homepage here. And just kind of check in from time to time to see what's going on and what types of things are happening. Okay. And that's all I've got. Any questions? Jacob, I see you're there. And I see Armand that you jumped in with us too, which is great. Any questions at all about anything that I mentioned or maybe anything that I didn't mention? All right, well, watch for that follow-up email It'll have links to all of this stuff there. If you have questions down the road, feel free to reach out to me. And I really look forward to working with all of you going forward. Thank you so much. Jacob, did you have a question?
Yes, ma'am. I have a couple. First, where in our truck is usually the accident report form, and the second was, does the Davy 401k that we have with Principal, is there a Roth IRA option?
Okay, so the incident forms most often would be in the glove box. And so if you don't find something in the glove box, I would say maybe print them out and put them in there yourself. For the retirement, I don't believe that a Roth IRA is an option in there. So it's probably they have a fund that's created that you're, contributing to that, and then part of that is also in Davy stock, kind of backs up some of that too. But I don't think you can pick and choose what type of fund that you're contributing to.
Understandable. I appreciate that response.
Yep.
Where could I find the accident report to print out on Connect?
Yeah, let me share my screen again here, and we'll jump back in. Okay. I'm going to go back into DRG Connect. Okay. And you'll have links to all of those. Like we saw, we can get to that from Davy Connect, but also you'll have the link in the information that I send you. If you go into the employee safety dropdown and go into the incident investigation reporting, we're going to just scroll down that page, and it's going to say incident forms. And there'll be a resource folder here, this link that you can click on, and you'll be able to find those forms in there and print them out. Okay. What else? Anything else?
Yeah, I had a question. I'm trying to sign up for the insurance, and I'm having technical difficulties. I can't seem to add my kids on there.
Okay. Reach out to
yeah.
benefits.hr@davy.com and let them know what's going on. I know sometimes it can be glitchy or confusing or what have you. So just reach out to them and let them know you're having issues so they can help you get through that. benefits.hr@davy.com.
Okay. There's not a number or anything I can call? Really?
Let's see here. So let's look. So let's come back in here and let's go. Sorry, my little navigation bar is in my way. Let's go into the Human Resources page in Davy Connect. We'll go into the Human Resources Hub. Get into this HR payroll call routing list. And then that should identify a specific individual for you that you can reach out to. And there should be some phone numbers there as well to help you, rather than going into like a general mailbox. I get it. So definitely check that call list and see who is listed for those benefits questions. And there may even be a specific person for UVM rather than Davy Utility or whatever that might be. Okay.
Okay. Thanks.
Yep. No problem. Anything else for anybody? All right. Like I said, I am here for you. If you have questions or need something, need some help, reach out to me. Otherwise, have a fabulous day out there. Be safe. Have a great weekend coming up. And I look forward to working with all of you going forward. Thanks so much, everybody.